I said, hey, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. I said, hey, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. We're gonna drink a fine whiskey and smoke a really fine cigar.
It is time for Happy Hour. It's the Man Cave Happy Hour. Whiskey, cigar, spirits, the stories that go along with it. I'm Jamie Flanagan.
I am Matt Fox.
Matt,
Yes, sir.
It's a podcast happy kind of day, and we're a very podcast happy kind of place.
We're kind of in a cave as we speak.
It is, and that's there's a story behind this cave. It's and it's very interesting. This room replicates something. We are in the barrel room.
Yes.
At the Founders Tasting. At Founders Brewery,
yes.
Downtown Detroit. They're tasting post
yes.
here in Detroit.
Welcome.
And it's we're in the barrel room, and the walls, and we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out all about Founders. We're gonna do some drinking.
We're gonna have a few pops,
and
yes.
We're gonna find all about Founders. We had some fun with Founders. We were doing a holiday gift guide.
Yes.
And Founders was super cool, and they sent us a bunch of stuff, and we tasted it. It was like fabulous.
Yes.
The
mothership.
Holy mother! It was that was some fun stuff there. And today, but we're in the tasting room downtown Detroit. And
yes, sir.
You got to call on the pros, man.
Well, here's the thing. When the Man Cave, when we started this 3 years ago, 100 and some episodes ago,
we don't know nothing about nothing.
And
that's the premise of the show.
We know nothing, but we wanted to learn. We wanted
to
learn from the experts. We wanted to sit down with folks that knew what they were doing
and
talking about.
We've been lucky, talking to master distillers
yes.
and master mixers, and professional bartenders. And today we have a master brewer.
Yes,
with
we
us.
do.
Jeremy, welcome to Man Cave.
Hey, dudes, what's going on? welcome to Founders Detroit.
Yeah.
So we're excited because we're fans of libations, spirits and beers and ales and all sorts of shenanigans. But we don't know, and that's the thing. And we like to learn, and hopefully the people who are listening join us and learn a little something along the way. And we want to find out all about Founders. We want to find out all about the beers that we're going to taste. But before we do that, we want to find out about you. So Jeremy, tell me about your childhood.
I had a wonderful childhood.
Did you really?
Yeah,
sure.
Right on.
It was just great.
Yeah.
Yep. I come from a beer and libations loving family that we enjoy the finer things in life, and so this was the easy transition for me into the beer world.
Are you a Michigan guy?
I am. Yeah, I actually grew up over here on the east side of the state.
All right.
And left home to the west coast of Michigan for a very brief stint of college.
Okay. GVSU?
It sure was.
All right.
My one semester at GVSU.
Hey, you know what? It's good.
If that hadn't happened, this wouldn't be happening right now.
Right. Things happen for a reason. You got
that one semester. I came out. I made some connections. The guy across the hall in my dorm was a drummer, and we started a rock and roll band.
Nice.
And next thing you know, I'm moving back out here with him. And as far as getting into beer, that was something that a group of my friends and we just kind of started to see some interesting stuff out on the shelves, stuff he hadn't seen before. I remember my old man drinking occasionally some Sam Adams or
fancy stuff.
Well, it's just that's what they had.
Right,
that was as wild as it got.
Give me a Boston Lager.
Yeah. In the late 80s, early 90s. So, by the time I was getting close to drinking age and I had friends that were of, we'd see Bell's beer on the shelf, and even Sam Adams started to have some more oddball stuff that they would see, and I don't know, it was just different. It really just struck a chord with me. The different flavors, the mouth feels. So we bought a homebrew kit. We went on the internet.
Nice.
And we bought a homebrew kit delivered to our home, and started down that journey of well, first of all, just following recipes and learning what you're doing. But it wasn't long before we kind of started writing our own recipes based on our knowledge of the raw materials, the experiences we've had.
So did your profiles, your taste profiles really come into play with all that as well as time went on?
Yeah, I didn't realize it, but looking back on it, I think that my taste, my ability to taste something and think about what is creating that flavor and how to achieve that, or, it has helped me in my career.
Fair.
For sure. But stumbling into the brewing industry was another a whole nother thing.
Was that pun intended or
stumbling? Yes, right.
So
no.
Tell me about your founder's story, right? So you've gone for you and your friends doing some home brewing. How do you get to the founder's story?
Yeah. So I'm trying to be in a rock and roll band. I've still got that dream, right?
Oh yeah. You got the beard, man.
Well,
and the glasses.
I should be letting the hair down too. I'll show you. But rock and roll doesn't pay bills. You got to have a day job.
Yeah.
I was detailing cars. I was you get these used cars in, you got to make them look brand new.
Sure.
And then they resell them.
How many Q-tips did you actually go through? Right.
I did that for a long time,
Yeah.
but I will say that that attention to detail has served me well over my next career also. So I look back on, I learned a lot from those days. It's not something I wanted to continue doing, and I was pretty miserable, and I ended up quitting to start my own low voltage wiring thing that didn't really take off the ground, and I was pretty bummed. I was just in a bad spot, and my then girlfriend, who's now my wife, she was like, "Oh, you like making beer? Why don't you go down to Founders and see if they need help?" And honestly, I was like, Founders isn't really my favorite brewery. I kind of like Bell's. Well, and
right on.
At the time, Founders beers were solid, but not exciting. They were doing the beers that everybody in the mid 90s kind of started their brew pubs with. They had a lager and an amber ale and a wheat beer and a pale ale.
Sure.
And then craziest that they had an IPA that wasn't especially inspiring either.
Okay.
But what am I gonna do? I'm an unemployed home brewer, and I'm like, all right, fine, I'll go down there. Went down there, talked to the bartender, and like, you hiring anything around here? She's like, hold on a second. And goes in the back, comes out with the guy who was
comes back with an apron here, and we need you now.
That's exactly what it was. The guy who was running the packaging
washer. Here we
it
go.
Was. He's like, what are you doing right now? And I'm like, nothing. I can't even pay for this beer I'm about to order. So, so that started that. That was a foot in the door, and it was at the ground level, and I knew nothing about professionally brewing other than
what you've already experienced.
Home brewing, then there's some things that translate there. Like I said, in my palate, my recognition of raw materials, and just, kind of a mindset of what kind of beers I wanted to pursue.
Sure.
But none of that was immediate. Right now, my job was, putting bottles on the conveyor belt and scrubbing floors and starting at the bottom. I mean, honestly, that opportunity to see every thing that has to go on from ground level, and doing all those jobs,
right.
That experience is,
you become more appreciative of what you're doing, right? Because you're seeing it from the ground up. You're starting from A. Where does double Z end? Right. So that's what I appreciate when folks start from the first peg, if you will, because I did the same thing in the banking industry. I started as a teller part-time, and now I do what I do today, which I thoroughly enjoy. There's a passion behind it. And that's where that passion grows from, is the experiences that you go through when you start with a company.
For sure. Yeah.
So,
and it makes you, as you grow, you understand all these positions, all these things that have to happen. Having that hands-on, I know that this guy's got to get this stuff done. It's like, that experience is, you can't replace that.
No, that's education.
How long have you been with Founders?
I am celebrating 20 years of being on the salary right now. So
wow.
It was about 22 years ago that I walked in there and got that gig, but that was here's a little cash under the table and some free beer.
So 2000 was kind of a big transition year for you.
Wow. Okay.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been a wild ride. I mean, I wouldn't trade it for anything. And, watching this industry evolve over the last 20 something years has been it's blown my mind.
And it really has evolved. It's there's some crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, we're not done yet either.
I would hope
all the time on my brain is man, where are we going and what is going to happen next? Because you got to kind of like,
That's actually one of our questions coming up. But
you don't expect me to answer.
So how did you get from into the being a brewer? Did a position open and did you ask for it? Did they pull you in?
It was a beautiful thing. So so I started working on the bottling line. Of a friend of mine who had been one of my home brewing partners. Got he was assistant brewer at another local brewery out in Holland, New Holland.
Okay.
And they happened to have the exact same brew house that Founders had. They were the owners of New Holland, and Founders were like, they all went to college together.
Right.
So there were rivalry
really
there.
Sure,
Yeah, it was a little rivalry. They bought the same brew house, and but he was at least familiar with that. And Founders Brewer left in 2001. And so they offered the job to my friend Nate, who came over, and it wasn't long after that the assistant brewer that hired me moved on also. So all of a sudden,
guess what?
The keys to the car are thrown to me and Nate, and Mike and Dave at the owners they were a little bit disconnected or desperate at that point. They had been doing this and it wasn't really taking off. So when we started having some thoughts about making some different kind of beers, beers with more flavor, beers that, things like we were home brewing, beers like breakfast stout, those were straight out of homebrew books, recipes of ours. So we started to, make some of those beers, and we were just doing it for our tap room at the time. We just wanted to have a cool tap room because we had a nice room. It was a big bar. Got a lot of people in there, but we're like, why can't we make special stuff for here? Because that's what Bell's was doing at the time.
Okay,
so that was inspiring, and I wanted to do that, and we did, and it was going good. And Mike and Dave kind of had the thought that let's put these beers into bottles and send them out to the world. And I was like, whoa, no, these are just for our tap room. These are crazy things.
But wait, there's more.
Well, breakfast stout was, never designed to be a mass-produced beer, right? It's a huge pain in the ass. You're melting chocolate and you're steeping coffee, and it's a giant mess, and it's so much extra work. And the once a year that we did it, it was always like a especially rewarding day. Hard work, smelled great, and of course you're drinking the benefits in a few weeks of your labor. But when it became a thing where oh man, we got to make thousands of barrels of this, it's like, what have we done?
Let's put our constructive minds together here and see what happens, right?
Yeah, but kudos to them to have that vision, and those beers, those extreme beers is really what kind of made us stand apart from the other places that were still just making wheat beers and amber ales and things like that.
How many barrels, like when you first started being the assistant brewer, how many barrels were you guys doing compared to what you're doing today?
we were probably 1,000, 1,500 barrels a year when I started. So that was they had a 30-barrel system. They were designed to be a production brewery, so not just a little brew pub. But that's
1,000, 1,500 a year.
Yeah,
how many you guys are doing now in a year?
About 500,000.
500,000.
Yeah.
And is this all happening up in Grand Rapids?
Yes, aside from here, where we have a little 4-barrel system that we do special stuff for Detroit, and we send those kegs back to Grand Rapids too, so we can get a little taste of what Kevin's cooking up here. And but a cool opportunity to get somebody else and do something fun, have their own kind of take on it. Because I've been making beer for 20-something years now, and I'm not that I'm out of ideas, but I'm more than welcome to check out what were you 5
when you started? I mean, it's like you look like you're a young cat. So it's
appreciate that. It's the beer. Keeps me young.
That's his beer is food. It's man, oh man. All right, so Founders itself, you guys have grown exponentially, and in the room that we're in right now is I was told that it's a replica. So this is this replicates one of your aging rooms, one of your aging caverns. Tell me a little bit about that, into that, and where it is.
Sure. So at one point we got our hands on a couple of spent bourbon barrels that had just gotten emptied, and Nate and I had the idea to put some beer in them. Let's try aging some beer in a
How long ago was that?
This would have been probably 2002.
Okay. Were you one of the first kind of thought processes around that?
I think Goose had been doing it with Bourbon County.
Okay.
But I don't think much beyond that.
Wow.
Yes, and yeah, we were just screwing around, right? I think we got 2 barrels in that year, 2 empty barrels.
Yeah.
And we had started making breakfast stout, and we thought that would be a fun beer to barrel age.
Sure.
So we put it in there, tried it throughout the year. We liked a lot of the aspects of it, but it wasn't quite right. The barrel aging process really tends to kind of thin out the body of the beer, and all that coffee and a lot of that chocolate flavor had kind of been lost. And it just it's a year later, right? Those flavors that are volatile and they dissipate. So, so we made some tweaks to the recipe. We kind of, beefed up the gravity, made a little more alcohol in there, a little more body, doubled the chocolate and the coffee, and did it again. I think we did 4 barrels the next year.
Okay.
And that came out really nice, and we were pretty happy with that. So then we got 8 barrels, and we filled 8 barrels, and that was enough to,
now make 1,000.
right. These days we would have been straight to 1,000, but back then we were able to slowly grow it. Sure. And we did, by the time we did 8 barrels, it was enough to put it through the packaging line, and we bottled it up in 4 packs, and we only sold it through our store in a little to-go cooler in our store. And nobody bought it. It sat there, right? I mean, people are looking at a $20 4-pack of some barrel-aged bourbon barrel-aged. I mean,
this is 2003, 4 by this time.
Yeah, it wasn't really a thing yet, but it was close because, well, what happened was, honestly, what happened was like Rate Beer and Beer Advocate and the beer nerds started just talking, and by word of mouth, it gained. A reputation. And I think by the time we released it next year, there was a line around the block.
Right.
People.
The notoriety had kicked in at that point.
Yes. And
it was.
And, and an amazing free tool of the internet that, Mark, you can't pay for that with marketing.
No,
you get people together, and it's honest, and it's grassroots, and people are genuinely excited. So to finish the story, we certainly ran out of room by the time we got to 16, maybe the next year, and we're like, where am I going to? We don't ever put these barrels, right? We were keeping them in the cooler. I didn't really want to keep them out on the floor where they would get, especially warm.
Right.
But Mike and Dave had a contact with the
scathingly brilliant idea.
Well, of course, that's what they get paid the big bucks for. There are old gypsum mines. Down in the city that obviously they're not mining gypsum anymore, but they were used for dry storage. Temperature, humidity controlled, about 90 feet below the surface. You take these giant elevators down there, and this is what it looks like. You see these these like ruts that you see there. That's where they would stick the dynamite sticks in, and it would blow it out, and that's how you mined. That's how you created a space down there.
My goodness.
So it looks like this. It really does.
Yeah. So anybody following along on Facebook or YouTube, you can see the walls and the barrels behind us.
Yeah.
And if you're just listening to the audio podcast, then it looks like we're sitting in a gypsum mine. It's found with barrels implanted into the wall here.
Walls,
it doesn't really look like that.
Yeah.
There are barrels, a lot of barrels.
But it's pretty amazing. So this is worth a crossover to the video if you're just listening to the audio to check that out, and it's worth a visit to downtown Detroit. You guys have an amazing space here. It's just like lined with garage doors and just tables, plenty of room. There's patio space. Great stop before a game. Not like there's parking anywhere downtown. You got to fight for that, but. I'm hanging over the edge of a driveway. I'm like, I wonder if I'll get a ticket. Maybe, who knows? Living dangerously today, but definitely worth a visit downtown Detroit. And it's a great stop because it's walking distance from all the venues,
all of them. And that's the thing, when you guys moved downtown Detroit, this became a destination spot for a lot of folks that are coming downtown for games or events or what have you. They want to come and experience Founders, if you will. You go to Grand Rapids, you go there to experience Founders. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
But when you come here, it's like a mini Grand Rapids.
Right? It's even kind of modeled after our Grand Rapids Taproom with the garage doors, and everything's just a little smaller. And like you said, we were, there's some grandiose plans downtown here, and we wanted to be a part of it. And that event traffic, it makes it a little tough to manage down here because there's rushes before and after,
of course.
Predicting it's a little more steady down in Grand Rapids.
Well, it's probably easy to manage now because none of the teams are winning, so nobody really comes to the games.
Yeah,
Just saying.
Right about when we move in here, like all the teams just start stinking.
Stinking to high heaven. Now, is there a barrel room like this that mimics the mine in Grand Rapids? I've been in the Grand Rapids facility, but it's usually been a hazy, phasey kind of thing when I've been there.
We do have a private room there called the Centennial Room, but it is not
after the Centennial IPA.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a bit of a larger space, but you can rent it out for private events, and yeah, it does well, but it does not look as cool as this. I'll say.
Very nice. So that leads me to this next question. I'm looking up at the bar here, and I'm seeing just a slew of bottles at the top there. Where did you come into Founders with all the bottles that are up there? Because there's 25 bottles up there. So how deep into the history of Founders do you go as far as the brews?
I mean, those are all on my watch. Those,
all right.
You know, they opened the doors in '97, and you know, not a whole lot of innovation as we know it today, and until me and Nate started getting weird. And then, you know, Nate moved on in I think 2005. So
is that when you moved into the
I took over the head brewer at that point. I did a lot. Well, it was doing a lot.
Yeah.
We didn't have a big crew, but I was, you know, kind of still managing the brewing department, which grew a lot, you know, under my watch, and eventually got to the point where I wasn't able to, you know, be a good manager. Of you know, round the clock shifts, and covering shifts, and then still trying to like be the head of innovation and do traveling and do, you know,
you got to get like yourself out there.
Something had to give, and frankly, I'm better at the creative side than I am the management side. So I brought up one of my best guys to be the brewing manager, and then I kind of took the brewmaster title, and now was able to focus on.
So you're more on innovation, and
I run the R&D department.
I was going to ask about R&D and how much fun do you have with the R&D?
Oh, it's still super fun. It's the funnest thing that we do. You know? I mean, honestly, and it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of screwing around sometimes. And but you know, we're to the point where, like I said, I've been writing recipes for a long time, so it's not that I'm out of recipes, but I'm more open to other people's ideas at this point.
That's fair.
Which is good because as the company grows, and you know, and marketing kind of has marketing and sales have valuable insight.
Absolutely.
And I'm kind of there, you know, they go through me to I make their dreams come true. That's what I'm here for. Right.
So this is what we're thinking. So can you do that?
Yeah. What do you got? Like,
we want to do something around A, B, and C. Is that something that you have in your repertoire?
Yeah. And it's just like that. And we work well together. It can be frustrating at times, but you know, I do my best to whatever experience I have and the knowledge of the industry, and you know, maybe that's not such a good idea, but what if we did this with it? So it's fair. You know, there's a lot of we work well together.
Yeah. It takes a team, right?
It's a team thing.
It takes a village.
It's not just me coming and telling you what beers we're gonna have, or people being like, make this. You know, it's very collaborative around there.
Love that.
So now you said the stout was part of that first venture into new tastes and different tastes. What have you done since then, between then and now? What has been your biggest hit, and which one has been your favorite?
You stole my question, Jamie.
Well, yeah, what's been because I know you're responsible for some of the big hits that have come out. So what was your biggest hit? What was your number one coming in at number one on the charts there? You know.
Well, interestingly enough, like I said, we really cut our teeth on the big high alcohol in your face beers.
Yeah.
But it was almost the antithesis of those beers that put us on the map with volume and drove all our expansion, and that's all day IPA. And the reason
the all day IPA,
yeah,
super it's everywhere.
It's like 4.7%. So it's session beer. And that, you know,
so you can still play your guitar.
Well, I'll be honest, we all love IPA at the brewery, and you know, and sometimes in this industry you're having lunch and you have a beer, and then you're talking to this guy, you might have another beer.
Uh-huh.
If you get a couple beers in the afternoon, by the time you get home,
Get a couple of those 9%ers
you're
in
not
there.
super. And
You're in
Centennial,
trouble.
they're 7.5%, 8%.
I can't tell you how many bags I've thrown in my days while sipping on an all-day IPA.
Yeah.
And we start throwing bags around 11 a.m.
Yeah, no, it works. You can actually drink it all day. So I mean, we needed that beer. Everybody at the brewery needed that beer because we were not being as productive as we could be. But we all wanted, we were hopheads. We love IPA. We wanted that fresh American hop flavor, but they were like, "Can we just do it without all the alcohol?" I mean, some alcohol and make it worth something.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're just kissing your sister.
Right. I mean, who wants to do that?
Yeah.
So all day, it was the right beer at the right time.
Yeah.
Not only for us, but the public was in the same spot, and that thing just took off on a rocket ship, and has it's our horse. So a lot of breweries will start kind of with a flagship beer, and that helps to drive them. And then they have other beers that they do that. We went the opposite, where we just had a portfolio of nothing really dominating, but well-made beers that kind of got us a reputation to a certain point, and then we came out with the flagship, in 2010 or something, and it
just
was
catapulted yourself, you guys, into that next level.
So that's definitely my biggest hit.
All right.
To Jamie's second question, because a friend of mine was actually curious to know about, what is one of your favorites?
Yeah. What's
that you've created, or maybe that you are still working on?
I'm gonna go with our Harvest Ale, which is a wet hopped beer.
What's the difference?
So the deal is, so hops get harvested, end of August, early September, and they get harvested. They grow. There's these little nuggets that grow on a vine, right? They're big and squishy, and they smell amazing. But what you got to do is you got to dry those things right away and process them because they're wet. They're dripping with oils and moisture, and they're gonna start to rot pretty quick.
Gotcha.
But if you can capture them in that moment right after picking it and use them fresh without any drying or processing, you get just amazing characteristics that you can't otherwise get. Lots more depth of fruit character, melons and bright citrus, and they're really fun to use. But like I said, you got like a day to use these things.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
Wow.
Right on.
So we commit. We make a beer every year at the harvest time, and we get these things. Well, I used to get them shipped overnight from most of our hops grow in the Yakima Valley out in Washington or Oregon, but the Northwest. We would have to get these things shipped overnight, refrigerated.
Oh my goodness.
It was insanely expensive. And still when they would show up, they would start to be getting a little warm and starting to get a little slimy and decaying. Fortunately for us, Michigan has a hop growing industry that has kind of taken off lately. So I have been hitting up those guys for these wet hops, because then I can have them like instantly within an hour after picking them and getting them in the kettle. And
Nice.
And when you're making this kind of beer, fresh is the key. It's not so much about even the variety that you're using or where it's from, but man, if you can use them fresh, you're gonna capture some.
Almost sounds like grain to glass.
It's and again, it's much like breakfast out. It's a huge pain in the ass to do, but it's just so rewarding that nobody complains about it. Now that's one where you can only make it once a year, so nobody can ever talk me into year-round harvest ale.
Yeah,
I feel pretty good about that.
So flying them in from Abu Dhabi or something, it's like your different harvest seasons,
and then the southern hemisphere. Yes, that actually is a thing. So
Yeah.
They haven't made me do that yet.
Yes. You're listening.
Yet.
Oh.
So, we really want to dive into what you have created and what your palate is. We want to learn from you, because we're going to try a few of your concoctions, if you will.
Yeah.
And we want to really understand what we should be getting out of it as we sip on them. And we're going to do that in the next episode.
We will.
Yeah.
So people looking for Founders, where are you distributed? How far and wide have we made it?
Oh my goodness.
Have we gone nationwide?
Yeah, we're in all 50 states.
Hell yeah. All 50.
That's amazing.
Right.
That's
on.
awesome.
Pretty sure.
That
A
is
couple international markets too.
Awesome. That's I mean, I see. I'm a fan. I me're here downtown Detroit, and I grew up in the city, and I love the city, and I love Michigan. My wife and I, when we did our honeymoon, we went to Traverse City. We just love Michigan. We love
You
keeping
went to
our
wine
money
country,
here.
or?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So we like keeping our money here. We like keeping Michigan things. But I mean, people listen to podcasts wherever, however. But we're proud of Michigan success stories, and Founders is one of those. And we're gonna have success, like Matt said, drinking some of these beers in just a second. Plus, I want to find out more about the ingredients, because you said that there is some Michigan hops and there's some from Washington. So we're going to dive into the ingredients a little bit more. Yes. We want to thank everybody who hangs out. We're not going anywhere if you're watching live on the stream. We're just going to play the sound of the theme song again.
And we're going to kick right into it.
Call it a second episode. So if you're following along, if you're listening, the next episode will be out in about a week from now. But if you're sitting here watching live, then just hold tight, because we will be doing more. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. We truly appreciate everybody who chimes in. Do all those podcasty things where we listen to podcasts. And the website is just found. What's the website address?
foundersbrewing.com.
Okay.
Just like that.
I think so.
Let's go with that. We'll Google it. And we'll say
Hit
it
the
for
Google
sure.
machine.
It'll be,
Here we go, yeah.
and then just look down at the show notes. They
yes.
will. The proper address will be in there. I didn't
I
have
work for the
it.
marketing department.
I don't know. I'm just in there. I will have that. We'll have it up for you. So, like I said, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Thanks for joining us.
Yes,
and
foundersbrewing.com, Mr.
Founders
Flanagan.
Brewing.
There
That
it
is
is.
I know everything.
Yeah, yes, you do.
Jeremy, cheers. And we're doing this all again in just a second.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We'll be back with new beers.
It's just like that. Do you want to grab a beer? We can grab a beer real quick.
Yeah. Are you guys going to work on this?
We're going to work on those next. Yeah. I don't know, Matt, if you want to bring that.
Yeah, I'll bring
a chair here. This is the in between time.
I'm not a bartender or a wait staff person.
All right. I'm gonna kick it with that theme song, and then you and I'll do our opening shenanigans. By then, Jeremy will be back. All right.
I said, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. I said, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. We're gonna drink a fine whiskey and smoke a really fine cigar.
It is time for happy hour. It's the Man Cave Happy Hour. Whiskey, cigars, spirits, the stories that go along with it. I'm Jamie Flanagan.
I am Matt Fox.
And Matt, we're
still here.
We're in a cave. We are
living in a cave. Yes,
we are in the mines. We are grinding it out in the gypsum mines.
Correct.
If anybody's watching this on YouTube or Facebook, if you can see it, we are literally. It looks like we're down in gypsum mines.
Correct.
Because we are at Founders Brewing,
yes.
Downtown Detroit,
yes,
and we are in their fabulous
the barrel room.
Yes, and it's a replica of the gypsum mines, where the barrels that are aged, some of the specialty beers, the KBS, is that's the one that gets stored down there. And
we got a lot of stuff down there now.
And
kinds of weirdo stuff.
Yeah, all kinds of hidden treasures down in the
Time to go down
mines.
there, I find something new. I'm like,
it's like,
I forgot about. Yeah,
I hope it's still good.
It says 2003 on the barrel. Wait a minute.
We probably should have pulled that out already.
And if you were with us last episode, you met Jeremy, and Jeremy's hanging out with us again. And this time, I've been sipping water. I don't know what I've been doing.
Me
You're
too.
prepping yourselves.
I know.
We're
getting a good base.
We wanted to get the story. We wanted to find out about Founders and Jeremy, and about you and your journey into the master brewing. So and now we're going to try some of these. There's a cornucopia of colors.
Yes, there is.
There's a cornucopia of smells coming from this tray of beers that we have. But I was talking about being a fan of Michigan and not proud of, I applaud Founders for doing so well and being a Michigan-based company. When we were talking about grain to glass, and you were talking about some of the fresh hops. And what beer is the fresh hops that you do once a year? What's that?
It's called Harvest Ale.
Harvest Ale, the Harvest Ale. And you got to do that within an hour or two, or a day, within a day.
A day.
to
I
be
mean,
able
the
to do
fresher
it.
the better.
Yeah. And
You,
so
you start
when,
getting into that second day, and
when you were flying
mm,
them in from Washington, it was like,
Yeah.
But when they're here
It was
from
sketchy.
Michigan, better still. So what about the other ingredients? Where are you sourcing things from?
Yeah.
What are you
so,
using? Where's it coming from?
Besides hops, we use a lot of barley. Barley is the other main ingredient. A lot of the base malt is grown here in our northern United States into Canada.
Mhm.
And also a lot of the specialty grains that we get are malted over in Europe, a lot from the UK and from Germany.
Is yeast a thing with you? So
Yeast being the third ingredient. We have a laboratory that it cryogenically saves strains of yeast and can grow those up to usable quantities. So
Okay.
it's quite a
'Cause
fun
Michigan's-
laboratory.
I'm just picturing Dr. Evil somewhere.
right.
out there.
So you're kind of an evil scientist. Here.
Well, I
It's,
let the expert, I like the microbiologists and those
Okay.
kind
All
of
right.
people handle that kind of
It's-
stuff.
all
I'd
right.
just be like, can you get me that? Okay, thanks.
Yeah, mad scientist.
that
yes.
one's working for me. I want more of that guy. All
Yeah,
right, we'll grow
so-
more. We'll grow more. So,
And then, of course, the fourth ingredient being Michigan water. And
Okay.
And in Grand Rapids, our municipal water, it comes from Lake Michigan. So it's an amazing brewing source. It's very consistent. It's got great mineral content for what we're looking for as brewers, and it's perfect.
Rock on.
perfect storm for some amazing brews. And so we're gonna try some. So, Jeremy, do you know what we got over here? Can you tell?
I have
All right,
no
so this
idea.
is he sent us up Peachy Trouble.
Corvallis.
Corvallis.
Okay.
Yeah, where should we start?
What else? So it's
Let's
like
hear
this
those.
side,
This is the
and then
Corvallis
this
here.
is the
the
side
other
by
side.
me.
We actually
Is there-
have we have 2 flights.
Yeah,
Uh,
we have
so
two
I
see
flights
what's
of
going
things
on.
to
Okay,
try
okay,
out.
Okay.
We got an all day vacay.
Yep.
That's a great place to start. That is a
Masagave GF. Oh.
Corvallis, got Four Giants. You should check that out first.
Four Giants
that-
all day
check out,
vacay.
check out the all day vacay. So I told you a little bit about all day.
Is this that next?
So this is our first line extension or variant on
Okay.
an all day. So all day being a session IPA, it has a very nice balance of malt and hops. But with an easy drinking body. I kind of took the concept of that balance and made it into a wheat beer. So it's a wheat beer featuring some citrus character. I wish I had a picture of the can right now because it's the classic woody, but instead of driving through the woods on all day original, it's driving down a beach.
Yeah.
And so it's got me thinking about what's a flavor that I would and I think that people would enjoy
The
in
nose,
summertime and
the nose on this. You said citrus. And
Yeah.
I'm getting some lemon out of that.
Yeah,
the citrus side of it.
lemon orange was kind of what I was
Yeah.
going
There's
after
a
there.
there's a little hint of the hops in it, and then the citrus in there is nice.
So I thought
for
that was
the-
summertime. We never really
like
had
that.
a real summer seasonal beer, right? Our seasonal beers are always just rotating random things, and
Sure.
and the salespeople were like, we could really use a wheat beer in the summer, something that people
Right.
associate with summertime, and so this is what I came up with.
And it's light. It's not like it's not
Mhm.
so hoppy where it's like, oh my god,
yes,
but it's a very light all day.
easy on the
yeah.
palate and light body, and but still pretty interesting. I'm happy where that one landed.
There's a decidedly beer color.
Looks like beer.
It looks like beer. Not all these look like beer. We got some hazy, we got some foggy, we got some pinky over here.
I think I see cranberry
we got
juice
some
over here.
grapefruity. What's that? That Four Giants. We got hazy Four Giants.
Oh,
okay.
that's the hazy
That
one.
would
be that
one,
That's
yes.
that one. You can,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can tell.
we gotta try that. So I'm enjoying this. I would order this guy up.
Yeah.
Matt and I, we when we're doing whiskeys and spirits, we have a rating system. Wildly inappropriate.
Are we gonna do? Are we gonna do
it's,
that 4 times,
it's,
8 times here?
kill Mary Screw? It's kill is dead to me. I'll never do it again. Screw around. That's out on the road. Marriott, I'll buy this and take it home.
Yeah.
I'd buy it. I'd have this in the fridge.
My brother-in-law is a big all-day IPA fan, as is my neighbor,
Yeah.
or what have you.
And most of America.
Most of them. but I'll tell you what, they enjoy their all days, and they're always looking for something that the next thing that Founders is doing. You know, they've done the bells and all that other stuff. They're always looking for something new.
Yeah,
if you will.
That's today's consumer.
Yeah.
Well, where are you at with the garnish on this? It's like, I don't wreck that by putting fruit in it, or
Well, so what I tried to do with that, that lemon, that orange that you're kind of picking out of the aroma was like, let me put that little zesty citrus in there for you, so you don't have to actually mess with the fruit.
Yeah,
Right.
it just doesn't quite need it.
Yeah, it should be fine on its own. Drink it out of the can at the beach, and you're good to go.
Right. You don't have to cut up an orange and
Nope,
put it in there.
Don't worry
at all.
about it. I already did it for you.
I'm gonna finish that if you don't mind. Mr.
Oh,
Yeah.
You
can,
holy crap! All right, drink
get
out of
that
that side of the
around.
glass.
Yeah, I don't have cooties.
How do you
We're-
want to
we're-
move up here? You want to keep you want to move like ABV wise? I mean, our oatmeal stout is another low alcohol one. Now, obviously, it's a stout beer, but it's that
Sure.
nitro
Sure, let's
dark
go
thing.
that way.
Yeah.
Why don't you switch it up and get that stout going?
All right,
try that.
Try that. You want to?
So this is on
first?
nitro. You know how like a Guinness pours on
Sure,
nitro
yeah,
as
yeah.
opposed to CO2. So
This is a Guinness man, right?
This is that's. See, I'm a one trick pony. You go into a bar, I ask for a Guinness.
Yeah,
generally speaking.
you kind of can't go wrong, right?
Yeah. It's
There's a lot of pitfalls out there when you're ordering a beer at a bar and you're like,
And then-
never
and
heard
then
of
they're
this.
Did they
Should I
pour it
try
right? You know,
Like, how old is the beer?
Yeah,
Right.
we got
Chances
this.
are a Guinness.
We got this pepper sneaker stout. It's like, nah. We straight it through sneakers. You're gonna love it.
give that a nose.
I'm like, man, you are gonna make me angry by serving me that. Just give me something.
so this
I
is
hear
the
ya.
oatmeal stout. You said yes.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yep.
All right.
So kind of, and we do it up on nitro to satisfy that Guinness customer. You can float it on things, make black and tans or
Sure.
Yeah.
or black and whatever. It kind of floats on a great variety of beers. So
And so the all day vacay, is that a summer is that a limited run for summers?
yeah, yep. Summer seasonal. You can buy it in 15 packs and on draft. This oatmeal stout is draft only. And pretty much, I think there might be a few accounts out there, but you got to come to our place to really appreciate
That's fair.
Done
that
correctly.
particular beer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. So there's no stout. Do you have a stout that is on the road for you in cans, or
We do breakfast stout and
The breakfast
bottles, and then after that, it's mostly barrel aged stuff.
Okay.
yeah.
So when I snipped, I nosed this. I got some coffee out of it.
Mm.
Is that typical for a stout?
Yeah, roasted grains share a lot of similarity to roasted coffees.
Okay.
When you start to get to that level of burnt, but it brings out a lot of coffee and chocolate character. So,
Okay.
That's just malt. Yep.
Nice.
So regularly available.
Oatmeal stout is year round, at least in our tap rooms. And like I said, there is some draft out there. You might stumble upon an account that they got Founders Oatmeal Stout, and you'd be like, I know that.
Yeah.
I like these guys.
That's where that rating system comes in, right? You screw around with it every once in a while if you find it, right?
Yeah,
Well,
right.
if you're going to be here at Founders, you marry it.
There you
That's
go.
how
Right,
it works.
exactly.
You want another sip before I finish that?
I haven't sipped it yet. To be honest with you.
I'm like, I almost finished it. Good thing I stopped.
Oh yes, that's very reminiscent of your Guinness consumer. Yeah.
That's kind of
It
what
is,
we're, like you said, there's people that just go in and they're like, I know what I want. I want this Guinness.
Yeah.
But
I would not be displeased.
If somebody
with
gave you that
this.
instead, yeah,
I would not.
Good.
I am more often than not displeased, and I go, just give me a taste, because they're like, no, you'll love it, and I'm like, I know I'm not gonna.
My
but
wife,
I like this.
my wife has taught me that ordering flights is the way to go. And then you're not stuck with a big glass of beer that you thought sounded like you were gonna like, and then you're like, oh no, I hate this beer. What am I
Sometimes you
supposed to
can't
do?
get all the way through it. It's it's
Then it can be
sometimes
embarrassing,
too
especially,
flavorful, or
I hear I'm a brewer and I'm at your brewery, and I'm like, oh no. You take your beer to the bathroom. I'll be right back. It's happened.
Oh, I love that.
Well, I probably should just be honest, but I can't. I'm just too nice of a guy.
So the whole thing with flights, right? Flights have been around for a while, but they really did start coming into popularity as far as trying in the last 15 years or so. Were flights around even before then? Because they're somewhat new. It's a newer thing that a lot of folks have been doing.
Yeah, you kind of got to. People want that variety. They want to try a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I remember it being in, kind of some of the main, maybe more of like a chain brew pub back in the day that was just part of their presentation.
Okay.
But I think everybody is kind of embraced to this point where let's let people try a lot of stuff.
Right. And that'll bring them back, and they'll end up getting the bigger glass.
They'll find their favorite.
So you're cross-selling and all.
Because like I said, if you get one chance and it's the wrong beer, well, you probably just lost them.
Right. So where should we go next?
Oh yeah,
with ABVs, you kind of we're stepping up from each one. Each
that
one.
was flavorful.
It was very good. That's something I would not be displeased with either.
I'm wondering, is a fruit beer going to screw you up at this point? I mean, that Rebase is pretty intense. You want to work in another hoppy beer before we do that?
Let's do a hoppy beer.
Check out this Corvallis thing. I got a good story about that. That should be that one. Yeah.
Corvallis.
So named Corvallis after the town in Oregon where near the Oregon State University. So what is happening here is they have a public hop breeding program.
I tried public breeding one time. The cops were not happy about it.
I just so used to talk about public breeding. That sounds really weird, doesn't it?
We're gonna have to ask you to leave.
All right, we're 12, and this is just the first taste.
So this is a new experimental hop variety that doesn't have a name yet.
Okay.
We called it Corvallis because that was the only word on the box of hops that we had. It was all just numbers and information.
All right. So
but it was from Corvallis.
So can folks get this in the tap room only?
This is in our tap room. So this is one of our. This is from the R&D program.
Okay.
In this case, we're trying out a new raw material, a new hop that they need our feedback on.
Okay.
These hop breeders and growers, like they can tell if a hop is agronomically going to do well.
Okay.
Does it yield good? Is it disease resistant? But it's up to brewers to be like, do you want to use it? Right. Does it smell good? Does it translate into the beer? Does it have staying power in that beer? So they rely on us and our expertise and our experimentation to kind of help drive that. So what they did is they send out these hop samples of these varieties, and then brewers brew with it, and then we determine is there any legs here? Do they need to keep growing more of it, or should they abandon the?
So I'm getting grapefruit, right?
Oh yeah, lots of citrus going on in there.
Yeah, grapefruit.
I haven't tasted it yet, but just on the nose itself, it's got a very sweet feel to it.
I get a little woodiness out of it, almost a little cedar character. But it's fun.
It was sweet on the first little sip there, and then it hung out grapefruity, and then the sour lingered. The finish. I wouldn't go so far. Bitter is the grapefruity sour. And then some hoppiness to it.
The hoppiness is there. You can tell that it's an IPA.
Not uber,
if you will. No.
Yeah. Well, and the idea is that when there's kind of a base recipe that they suggest you use to allow the hop to be evaluated without a whole lot of other things going on. So it's a very simple malt bill. Try not to get too much bitterness, but use enough of the hop to really kind of evaluate the aroma, the flavor of it. Pretty much everything you're getting out of there is from that hop.
So this is kind of like a lighter version of a hazy.
Yeah, we clean it up. We want it to be as clean as possible to really evaluate that hop and not have any other distractions.
That's fair.
So when you're just brewing something, because this one wasn't aged, this wasn't barrel aged at all. So what's the production time from? All right, we're going to start making this to when it's in the bottle and heading for the store.
So you're looking at, it's a lot easier to just get it on tap in my brewery. That's probably more of I can have that in 2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks. Okay.
If you want 2.5 weeks. If you want to mess with distribution and get it out to stores, we generally got to start like at least a month before that to ensure that it gets on trucks and gets to the retailer.
So, but from when you start brewing to when it's coming out the tap, it's about a 2.5 week process. With the barrel age, because we're going to get to a couple. Do we have a barrel age fella in here?
Do.
KBS.
We got KBS. Yeah.
All right. So when we get to that, we'll talk about how long it sits. In that.
All right. We'll keep moving on here.
Yeah.
You
can have that one.
Okay. Here's a little transition. So I got an IPA with fruit. So this one is it's an imperial IPA, which means it's going to have more alcohol, more bitterness, more hop character. But it's also got an addition of peaches to it, which kind of like softens it, sweetens it. It's a pretty interesting.
Were the peaches thrown into? The whole peach was thrown in, or
no? We use a juiced.
Okay.
Actually, a concentrated juice. So the beauty of that is they get the skins and the seeds and everything out of there, and all I have is like this intense
no beaks and wings, no beaks and claws. Just the juice.
These are high quality.
You know what those are made of, right? Lips and assholes.
All right. But all right, so the grapefruit citrus we were getting off of the Corvallis, that was all compliments of the hops.
Sure. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
But in this peachy trouble, there's actual
fruit
brought into the.
So you might still get some of that, citrusy character from the hop.
Sniff away, brother.
But there will be another layer of actual fruit and fruit sweetness to
right on the nose. It's like it's peach right up front.
Right? Yeah, explosive peaches.
You know what they say? I can eat it. Never mind.
You've said it on.
I've said it a few times. Yeah,
you said that.
It's your show. Say whatever you want.
Yeah, you're a single man. You can say whatever you want.
Oh, okay.
I'm married. My wife doesn't listen, so I can say whatever I want.
That's at least.
I jinx myself. It's like we've been doing the show for 5 years, right? And I was on the radio for like 17 years here in Detroit and 20 years around anyway. So, and it's like, she never listens, right? She never, ever listens. Right. And so we're on a show and she just like, it was probably 6 months ago. And she decided to get involved and listen to one. And it's one where I was like trash talking and I was going, I can say whatever I want. She never listens.
Oh no.
And I jinxed myself.
So she was
with
really
that,
impressed with your presentation.
Oh, she was impressed already. I caught that one later.
So I'm really excited for Javen to try this one because when I nose it, peaches right up front. When I tasted it, wow, was it refreshing? That is a refreshing IPA, if you will.
Okay,
yeah, it's a sessional IPA. Yes,
there's
no, that's imperial. That's gonna be
imperial.
About
that's what you said.
9% alcohol.
9%.
Is there's a different mouth on this?
Yeah.
Am I getting that right? There's like a slightly different mouthfeel.
Oh, for sure.
Almost I want to, if we were into whiskey, I would say the oils of it, but it's hanging out a little bit. It's sticky. It's a little sticky.
The beer is the base beer is dry and oily, and but then the peaches add like a sweetness and a more fullness to the mouthfeel. So it's
sugary. It's a sugary. Oil is a sugary oil, grabbing my tongue a little bit.
Yeah,
and then the IPs, that bitter is
finishes with a bitterness
at the end. Yep.
Yeah. It's weird for someone to say it's refreshing when it's a 9%.
Well, yeah.
No, is this up at 9%?
Yeah.
All right, I'll hold on to this one.
Yeah. One of my favorite tricks is hiding alcohol in beer, so people are.
Where did that come from?
Wow.
No, that is a fantastic beer. That
awesome.
is a fantastic.
Glad you like that. It was that was a kind of a hit in our tap room that we did one time years ago. Sold out really good. So that is our current mothership. Mothership is a series that we just sell out of our own stores and pubs.
I'll tell you what, the Blushing Claws is
where that came from.
That is one of my favorites of the Mothership series. Awesome. And this is now my second favorite.
Yay.
Peachy Trouble. So if someone, you got to be kind of in. You say your tap rooms, are those here in Grand Rapids? Is that it, or are there more tap rooms where people can get a hold of this?
Grand Rapids, that's it.
Okay,
that's currently it.
And so and so these motherships and these special ones, you gotta
hit one of those places up.
You gotta know somebody who knows somebody,
or just come visit us.
Right. Well, I mean, but you said all 50 states, so if you got somebody hooked on this business in Hawaii,
that's why this is a destination spot.
Right.
That's
how you get them.
People over in Oregon are like crazy for this, then they're like, oh crap,
we gave you those wet hops and we can't even get a sip. Come on.
As this has lingered and this has stayed a little bit, I feel the alcohol slightly
starting to cut through a little bit.
Yeah. Not ethanol or anything, but just the warmth. There's a little bit of warmth in there. Yeah.
I like that. No, that is I really did enjoy that. I'm gonna have some more.
I got a couple other fruit beers too. So Rubeus it's raspberry forward. It's sweet. This Masagave with the grapefruit, that's more of a sour tart beer. So do you want to go sweet or sour right now? What are you thinking?
We just did sweet. I think it felt sweet. What about you?
Yeah.
You said that was kind of candy-ish, sweetish.
Yeah.
Let's go sour.
Want to try that sour one? Yeah, grab that thing.
All right. So the Masagave.
So
GF.
This is actually a barrel aged beer.
Okay.
This is a tequila barrel aged.
Well,
beer.
it's agave. That's where that's
all right.
agave.
So
it's
tequila
brewed.
barrels.
It's brewed with actual agave nectar.
Oh, nice.
And it's the Goza style. Goza is a really old style, an old German style.
Different than Gozer,
yes,
the destroyer.
Don't cross the streams, Ray.
I looked into the trap, Ray. I looked into the trap, Ray. Get her. That's your plan.
When a god asks you if you say yes.
We tend to digress a little.
Well, the funny thing is that we affectionately call this thing Gozer. It's Goza. And Gozer is like.
All right. So what was the proper name? Now that we've screwed around, I said that the real name popped out of my head. Masagave and what was it?
So the Goza style.
Goza style. All right. What is Goza style?
It's sour and salty. And often served brewed with like coriander or something like that. So I kind of took the sour salty inspiration, put more alcohol in it, barrel aged it, and then did a couple versions. So this one's got grapefruit. There's another one I do with lime, but kind of inspired by like tequila drinks. Either a Paloma or a margarita. Or
what do you do when you do a shot of tequila? Anyways, you salt, lick,
salt in it, and either lime or like I love the Paloma.
What you do is you don't drink crap tequila.
You don't have to do that stuff,
and then you just sip it because it's good.
Yeah. Right. Just got a point there.
So but thanks for the clarification.
Yes, if it's got a little plastic red hat on it, then you're gonna feel like crap tomorrow.
But you need the salt and the lime to get it down.
If your tequila comes wearing a costume, you're in trouble. It's not gonna end well. That's so
I got
the fancier the bottle, the more trouble you're getting into. Well, actually, those blue. But anyway.
So I'm holding the glass a few inches away from my nose, and even then, I feel the tequila on the nose.
Oh yeah.
It's right there.
Those barrels worked.
What's the ABV on this one?
10. 10.5 maybe.
Okay. Really?
Yeah.
What? I thought there was a limit. Oh, we were talking. Yeah,
that's on
we were talking cider
with Blake's. Yes.
Yeah. Because there was a limit. So what's
that's.
Yeah, just for licensing and things. So, how hot can you get?
There's a few states so it's all state controlled.
Yeah.
Some states had caps for a while, which kind of made it difficult for us. Even our friends down in Ohio, I think, had a 12% cap for a while. Wow. And our KBS at 12.2 was
no go.
Wow.
Sad.
No for you.
That's okay. We don't who cares about Ohio? Really? Seriously though.
Well,
it's
those Michigan people, right?
There's a lot of people in Ohio. I want to sell them beer. Yes.
Yeah. We love you, Ohio.
We do.
Just go Wolverines.
Send your emails to Matt Fox at Cave Happy Hour. I can't believe you said that, Matt. Anyway.
Gentlemen, it's been nice. Appreciate it.
So the Masagave. So what's the GF?
Grapefruit.
Just
because we have a couple different. I've done a lime. I've done a what was the other one? Oh, prickly pear. I did a prickly pear once. Yep. Just screwing around.
So is this another tap room only?
No.
treat?
This is available in 4-pack glass.
Okay.
Wow.
Yep. So you'll find that out in the stores this summer.
If someone goes into their favorite liquor store or beer store, what have you, can they ask them to order KBS
all retailers have access if if they work with our wholesaler in the area, they have access to our portfolio and sure.
Well, most of them can, but I don't know if there were anyone that were off limits, if you will.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of shelf space at this point. It's so crowded out there.
You think?
I get the salt. I get the
it is a little salty,
on my lips.
Yeah. A little after salt.
As I'm sipping it, and then afterwards, I get that there's that salty on the lips with this. That is a riot.
Kind of fun, huh?
And it's not. I'm just full disclosure. I'm not a big hoppy kind of guy.
Yeah.
There's always people like the triple hops, and I'm like, oh my god.
I don't want to chew on my beer.
Yeah. I'm down with this one.
Well, this is pretty far from beer, right? At this point, I mean,
like
if I just handed that to you, I didn't
cocktail.
tell you anything about it. would you guess beer? I don't even
No,
know.
no, this is a interesting colored cocktail.
And with the success of RTDs and things like that, this is kind of an opportunity to go after maybe not your traditional beer drinkers. Maybe you buy the margarita mix or pre-mixed things, and maybe this could do it for you. I don't know.
I keep getting the salt every time I do it, which is it's fun,
kind of fun.
Excellent. I'm gonna finish this off, Jimmy.
Oh, you son of a!
We could go get more.
Come
on.
There's plenty more. Don't worry about it.
All right, three more
We got a
soldiers
couple
standing
left.
up here.
All right. Well, you want to get off the fruit for a minute?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's check out that Four Giants hazy. That's
I
I know you just said you don't like the hops,
Shiny,
but this
shiny.
one is
All right, so
pretty happy.
when I see the
Not
hazy,
bitter, though.
and I'm gonna bring up M43. Okay.
Yeah,
Because
let's talk about
this looks reminiscent of the color looks reminiscent of an M43, which has got that great fruity type feel to
Big
it.
time.
Right on the hazy.
Nose.
For sure.
So is that when you were coming up with that, you came up with this first before they even thought
Oh
about
no,
No?
I'm late to the hazy game.
Oh, okay.
To be honest, this was a style that I kind of looked at as
Gotta answer.
What are we doing?
it. Okay. Why haven't we?
Well, no, more like I don't know. When I used to homebrew, my beers would come out looking like that.
Ah,
And then I got a real job and figured out how to do it. And then my beers
started looking like
I
that.
just feel like that is what is appealing to me.
Right.
So
It's not super light, but it's not super dark. It's sort of like right in the middle.
and
got
it's brilliant clarity. I love to like look at it, my beer through the light.
Mhm.
So it took me a while to even accept this as a
hazy.
legitimate thing. And speaking of M43, I think the first time I was at a KBS event party at another bar.
Okay.
And we were supporting one of our local supporters,
As you do.
as we do. And I saw trays of M43s going around, and I did a double take. I was like, what are they serving people? They got to change that keg or something. There is something seriously wrong. And I asked the guy, I'm like, what are you pouring everybody? Because there's a lot of them going around, and I'm like, what is happening?
Oh, no.
And it was
Is it salmonella
M43,
special there? What are you doing?
Well,
Yeah,
it looked like the end of a keg that's all yeasty. And I was like,
right.
no. But come to find out, it's a thing. So I'm in the game now.
It's thin. It's on the taste. It's there's not a lot of mouthfeel to it. It's thin on the mouthfeel. Very grapefruity. For me is what I'm getting. So what's in this? What's the mash bill on this? What would you call that? What's the proper terminology for that?
Mash bill.
What's your mash bill on this fellow?
So traditionally in hazy beers, you're going to want a high percentage of like oats and wheat. Those things have a lot of protein that kind of contribute to that softer mouthfeel and hazy.
Softer
appearance.
is a better way of saying it than thin.
This might come across as thin, especially after the last couple of beers we drank we had a lot of sugar in it. But I will say it was intentional to not have this thing be super heavy like a lot of hazies are. I needed a stable haze
because looking at it, it looks because it's thick and it's very it's not.
But the haze is stable, and that took me some time to figure out too. A haze that's not just going to settle out in the bottom of your can,
right?
And then you have a mess on your hands as you're either pouring it on draft or out of the can. Getting that haze to stay in suspension for the duration of its shelf life was something that I had to unlearn what I had learned and kind of do everything backwards to make that happen.
Right.
But no, we're like I said, we're distributed across the country. A lot of those hazy beers came about by smaller breweries that. Serve their beer out of their tap room. They serve it the day it's packaged. People take it home and they drink it right away. With our footprint, we can't control that. And, And this is a beer that needs to be drank fresh.
So the bartenders that you have on staff here in Grand Rapids and in downtown Detroit, where we're at right now, when someone comes in and they've never experienced Founders before, they go through their own extensive tastings themselves. So if someone comes in and says, I'm looking for something that is reminiscent of A, B, or C, then they can come up with this.
Absolutely.
If they're like, I'm a kind of.
Why is it called Four Giants?
Well, okay, good question. So this is the hazy version of it, but the original Four Giants is based on 4 double IPAs that we created in our tap room.
Okay.
And there was a lot of discussion amongst bar staff and employees and even regulars about which one of those is the greatest double IPA Founders ever made. And so my R&D brewer Diamond, he was. He decided to settle it all by by kind of taking aspects of all 4 of those recipes and bringing them together to make one super Imperial IPA, and that became the 4 Giants. So,
all right,
and then this is the hazy version of it.
okay.
Right. You want to finish that up, Mr.
No.
Flanagan? No.
So is that's it? You said it's like a double IPA.
Yeah. I am enjoying this one tremendously.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's available in cans, tall boy cans. Like I said, I feel good about that haze stability, and
I have a friend in Idaho, and he is a huge hazy IPA type person.
Yeah.
You know, that's Jason and Christina.
Sure. Okay.
That
fair
moved
play.
out to Idaho. Yeah. So yeah, he's a huge. He would dig this. Really
Jason needs to keep his Michigan connections.
He does.
And,
He
get some of that
does.
shipped out.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
All right. So we got the
Last couple
KBS hazelnut and the red thing.
The red thing. It's called Rubaeus. Yeah, it's a straight up raspberry beer. What do you guys think? I mean, they're both pretty powerful. So
Both ABV about the same.
no, Rubaeus is low, KBS is high.
All right, let's go high, and then we'll go low,
Sure.
because that's how you're supposed to sell
works.
stocks.
Yeah.
You buy high and sell low. That's how it works.
All right. Grab one there,
I'm
Matthew.
in. I'm in. So this is
What's
KBS.
the mash bill on the KBS?
Yeah, lots of stuff. Lots of dark grains and some crystal malts for sweetness. And now the deal with this is we've done some variants on KBS lately also.
Yeah, there's been a lot. Wow,
people
holy
like-
crap! This is like a smoky,
Yeah.
smoky coffee.
Go big or
Smoky coffee on the nose.
This
And
is
so
this is very popular. If I'm not
KBS
mistaken.
is a big deal. Yep. It's one of the original barrel aged beers, and it's been going on a long time. And
The people lining up around and they still do. They line up around. It's people look forward to the releases.
they do. Well, actually, we went. We've been going year round with it, so
Yeah.
you
Oh,
can
wow.
actually always find KBS now, which is kind of a fun thing. But these variants come out yearly, so that's kind of replacing so KBS is available year round. Variants come out once a year, and it's kind of special. So
Gotcha.
this one gets a dose of hazelnut coffee after it comes out of the barrel. So it's
Ooh.
all.
See,
it's
that's
got all
my
your.
that's my go-to every morning. Is
Is
hazelnut.
hazelnut
coffee.
your hazelnut guy?
Hazelnut coffee,
okay.
yeah, so-
well, I hope you like this.
It's very smoky coffee on the nose. It's nice.
Okay, I'm gonna dive in. If you don't
Dive,
mind.
brother. I didn't hit it. I was letting you go first. I'll do the sloppy seconds.
That is a hazelnut coffee.
Mm-hmm.
That is exactly what that is.
Yeah, with some beer in there. But
With
yeah.
some beer. That is beautiful. One of my traditions every Thanksgiving and Christmas morning, it is
Oh, yeah.
it is hazelnut coffee with Jameson's in it.
Oh yeah.
So it's an Irish coffee.
Mhm.
if
Would
you
they
will.
smell this at school if it was in my coffee cup? Do you think?
No, I'm nodding yes, but no.
Mr. Flanagan is drinking his specialized coffee again.
He likes the hazelnut.
That would be that next step, because in the morning it's coffee or what have you, your Irish coffee, Irish hazelnut coffee. I could move right into
Use this to transition into the rest of your day.
Yeah,
This
Man.
is a serious coffee profile on this.
It's big. Yep.
Yeah. So what's and the mash bill? What's the alcohol in it? You said?
12-2, I believe it comes
Jiminy
out.
crickets.
So that's
barrels.
Most of the
that's an
KBSs
immediate
are
transition.
12
is what
twos.
it is. Yeah,
Yep.
that's
So
an
this
immediate
is
transition.
just straight up KBS aged with some hazelnuts, some fresh hazelnut coffee after it comes out of the barrels.
So how long?
That's
Because you
good.
say it's about 2.5 weeks
Mhm.
on a regular brew,
Mhm.
then you can be pouring it out of the tap. So when does it go into the barrel, and how long does it stay in the barrel when you do one of the KBSs?
up.
Those things need about a year. In the
About a
barrel.
year.
Yeah.
Okay.
How, generally speaking, how long does a beer hold up? And when you buy some Founders, should you drink it within 3 months? Should you drink it? Is it like, oh, I'm gonna save this bottle and I'm gonna give it to my kid when he
Yeah.
turns 21 because he was
Right.
born this year.
Yeah, I wish they wouldn't, but yeah. It depends on the beer. All those
Sure.
hoppy beers you're drinking, freshness is the key.
Yeah.
I mean, you start to get 3 months and they're starting to lose their.
All right,
their
so there's
brights,
decidedly
their
a shelf life
hoppiness.
on those. Okay,
You start drinking dark beers and the like, and those actually can hold on much longer.
okay.
And the barrel aging process, and we generally try to keep oxygen out of a finished product because that's what causes oxidation and
Right.
staling.
Right.
But a little bit, that's kind of part of the barrel aging process because it's wood. The wood breathes.
Yeah.
So it does oxidize in the barrel, but that's kind of just an accepted part of barrel aged character.
Sure.
Which is why beers like stouts and dark heavy beers generally work better in the
Mhm.
barrels. They can handle that
they
oxidative
can-
character.
That is a beautiful.
They're in it for the long
Yes,
haul.
this is beautiful.
That
So, I like that.
So in this the hazelnut KBS, and those hit the shelves periodically.
Yeah. So I think we launched that in March. So that should still be hanging around in some spots. Yeah, you might be able to find hazelnut on the shelves.
And then it's gone. So will hazelnut come back in a year or 2 years?
I think
how do you rotate those?
Yeah. So what we've been doing is a brand new one in March, and then in November we re-release the one from the previous year's March. So you get it in March, and then you get it the next year's November.
Right. And then the marketing people say this one sold like a mofo. Do more of that.
Do that again. Yeah. Right. We take that into consideration for sure.
You got to. Yeah.
And give the people what they want.
Yeah.
Excellent. So should we dive into the last one, gentlemen?
Yeah.
So this one, it honestly, it looks like it's cranberry juice in the glass.
Yeah, the color on it.
Yeah,
it's very. Yep. Camera's too far away. All right, no worries.
But it looks like, we DJ weddings and events all the time. And usually my drink of choice is cranberry juice, just so it looks like I'm participating. Right. So this, if it was to be at a reception of some sort, I could participate, if you will.
Just drinking cranberry juice. So this is straight up raspberries. I mean, I really try to keep the malt and the hops in the background and just kind of feature.
It almost smells like a cider, if you will, like a raspberry
a little bit
cider.
Of that, a little bit of that cider character going.
Yeah.
Raspberries are nice. They have kind of their own sweet, bitter, sour balance within themselves, which always lends nicely to a full palate of a beer. So, like I said, just kind of let the raspberries do the talking in this one.
All right. Where do you source the raspberries from?
I believe they're
everywhere.
I believe they generally come from the Northwest.
Okay.
Years ago, there was such a bad raspberry shortage. We actually had to stop using raspberries, and we switched to Michigan cherries.
Okay.
For a couple of years, which is nice because it's Michigan
cherries,
and then like 2 years later, we had that early freeze, and the Michigan cherry crop went nowhere.
Yeah.
But by then, the raspberry crop was back and doing fine, so we switched back to raspberries. And you just kind of got to be a little flexible in this industry, especially with dealing with agricultural products.
Well, the ergonomics of everything is like you have to make sure that you're using something that's fresh and keeping your consumers happy at the same time. So you have to be able to take something, tweak it so it still keeps the way you want it to be.
Exactly.
What's the alcohol on this one?
It was 5 to 6%.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, that's sweet. It's nice. Yeah. That's the raspberry forward.
Yeah. Another beer for people that maybe just don't love traditional beer flavor.
Right.
A lot of we don't currently have wine or anything like that at our pub, so we sell a lot of this to people that's
fair.
Bring their wives down and
right. She's driving.
Give her one of those. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Excellent. So over the next couple of years, what are some of the things that you were working on?
Where are you taking this party next?
Good Lord.
That you can tell us. Come on, break some news.
We're we look at trends and trying to kind of predict where the consumer will go is the name of the game for us, because we're a big company, so we're a little bit slow moving sometimes as far as like what it takes to develop a beer and get it out to the world.
Sure. Yeah.
And sometimes by the time you're like, wow, this thing's really cool right now, we should think about that, and then we start working on it, and then by the time like we get a product that's ready to go,
everyone's moved on.
They're
to
on to
next.
something else. So that's I've seen that over the last couple of years a few times, and thought to myself, oh man, I'm gonna be spinning my wheels here. But
one of the things as a master brewer is, as a banker, I want to work towards where I can start making policy instead of following policy.
Yeah.
And as a master brewer, you're doing just that. You're making things for the company to then get behind. Right. So that's kind of that dream, if you will.
Yeah.
That a lot of folks want to look at.
Yep. We try to take in a lot of ideas and vet them and think outside the box sometimes. I mean, that's really where new trends come from. And I kind of feel like, personally, in my gut, I think that there's a lot of hype beers right now, a lot of these hazies, a lot of really intense fruit beers, people wanting different things every week. That's tough for us. Like I said, we're a big brewery. I think what we should focus on and what would behoove us the best is to really, come up with some brands, things like All Day that really resonated on a grand scale.
Really, it
and,
did, yeah.
and build a brand. Invest in the marketing behind it, and try to get people, hooked on something that they want to, that they do want to drink all the time. They're not just on their way to the next thing, but what's going to resonate, what's going to really stick with them, because that's.
And you have a number of things already that we tried tonight that has resonated with me, that I will come back to. Are there going to be any other tap rooms that you guys are going to be doing in the state of Michigan or outside of the state at all?
I don't think we have any plans right now. I mean, coming out of the pandemic it's a changed world out there.
It kind of is.
A lot of things are different. I think a lot of the ways people buy beers are different, and it's nice to see the tap rooms picking up again, because it's been a rough couple of years. It really has. We went from a tap room in Grand Rapids where you could hardly get a seat in there to like, oh man, how do we get people to come back here? It's but it's happening, and we're excited about some warmer weather and live music coming back and those kind of things.
If you need a DJ.
Does your band ever get to play at the bar?
Yeah, we actually brought we were one of the first shows after the pandemic, and it felt great to just do it again. Yeah.
So you actively playing? Your band is active right now?
Yeah. I just played a gig last weekend.
Right on. Yeah. So what's the name of your band?
I have several different projects. Yeah. Last weekend I played with a Guns N' Roses tribute band.
Nice.
So I started that years ago for a special event, and people keep asking to have it come back for things. So
you got to put the bucket on
bass.
I'm a guitar player.
You put a chicken bucket on your head.
Yeah. Well, I get the slash top hat.
Okay, the top hat. All right. Go with the top hat.
We're old school Guns.
All right,
straight out of 1987. But it was fun.
Welcome to paradise. That's all. You're good.
I have a great time. Doing things that are artistic, but maybe not beer. I have other hobbies besides beer. Music, rock and roll.
Who doesn't have it? This is a gig economy. Who doesn't have a second thing going on?
Kind of got to.
Sure.
Yeah. So is there anything that we missed throughout the past hour and a few moments here?
Yeah.
Because conversating with you has been absolutely fantastic.
Thank
you enough for your time.
No, it's been great. Yeah. I love, it's my favorite thing about this industry is making new friends and drinking beers and talking and learning and
instead of just going to throw a microphone in front of you with some headphones and here we go. It's a podcast.
Here we go, right? You just keep feeding me beers. I can go all night.
Right on. All right, Matt, what's that website again?
foundersbrewing.com.
That's what it is.
Yes.
All right. So subscribe, leave a comment. The Man Cave Happy Hour on all the socials.
Yes,
and,
please.
The website as well.
Yeah.
Tell 100 of your friends.
If they'll tell 10. You'll have tens and tens of followers.
That's it. I will have tens of views on this. But yeah, no, thank you guys for following along, and thanks for the pours, and thanks for the magnificent, seriously magnificent.
I'm going to finish off this hazelnut sauce.
Right. Cheers.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.